Welcome to Viewpoint. I'm Volodymyr Sologub. Join me now to discuss the latest developments in the Ministry of Infrastructure of Ukraine. It's the minister himself, Mr. Andriy Pyvovarsky. Mr. Pyvovarsky, welcome to Viewpoint.
Good morning.
Mr. Pyvovarsky, I think back in November or December, the Ministry of Infrastructure signed a loan deal with the World Bank for more than $500 million for roads reconstruction. And roads, it's a huge problem in Ukraine. The quality and the condition of the roads is terrible. Can you tell us where will these money go and when the Ukrainians will see the new roads?
Well, this particular project, it's the third project with the World Bank, and the project is for $580 million. A lion's share of this money will go towards the completion of the project Kyiv-Poltava, Kyiv-Poltava-Kharkiv. So
it's roughly 500 kilometers.
Well, we will be completing the stretch between Poltava and Kharkiv with this money, mostly. Then we will do a pilot project, Kirovograd-Mykolaiv. There used to be a great road there. Now it's a direction, and that got significantly hit by the heavy traffic of overloaded trucks that carry grain, etc., agricultural products to the ports. So on that road, Kirovograd-Mykolaiv will do a pilot project with electronic weight control, and the most up-to-date modern technological instruments will be introduced there. And we will do a project for the fourth project with the World Bank, Lviv-Kherson. That's going to be the fourth project, essentially. The tender process for Poltava-Kharkiv, for Kirovograd-Mykolaiv, and for the project for the new road, the tender process has begun. The actual construction works, if everything goes up according to schedule, will start at the end of this year. But it's a 5+ year project. When you ask me about when the Ukrainians will see an improvement in the quality of roads, number one, when we adopt a law that will decentralize Ukrainian roads, when we clearly assign who's responsible for what road, what's the responsibility of the local communities, what's the responsibility of the state. That's number one. And the law is ready for the second reading, but the parliament is not voting for it. Number two, when we adopt a law on the creation of the dedicated road fund. The law is there, hasn't been submitted for the first reading. It was supposed to actually happen on Monday, then on Tuesday. Well, it's not happening for some reason. When we start spending adequate, systematic money, we'll have good quality roads. Now, currently, what we get for maintenance is less than 10% of what is needed to maintain the existing road infrastructure. We're talking about maintenance, we're not talking about construction of new roads. So these two laws are necessary, and then the reform of Ukravtodor that we started last year. We need to decentralize the road maintenance capacity to the local communities and retain within the state.
Well, talking about this Ukravtodor, this state agency which is responsible for the roads management and or building, correct me if I'm wrong, a lot of people, a lot of experts are accusing this state agency of being notoriously corrupt. The money goes from the budget to this agency and nobody sees the result. So what needs to be done with this agency to change the things?
We started a major reform last year of Ukravtodor, essentially. We're splitting it apart into several pieces. In the past, Ukravtodor was responsible for maintenance, for construction, for quality control, for everything. So it was a one-stop shop, essentially, project. We're splitting it apart. We're transferring certain responsibilities to the local communities. Certain the quality control will be completely separate from Ukravtodor and will be done by foreign companies, or let's say independent companies. I'll give you one example. Last year we ran a tender for construction of a road in Lviv and Ivano-Frankivsk Oblast. In dollar terms, we managed to decrease the price per kilometer 3 times compared to what it used to be years ago. Similar works. So we're comparing apples to apples 3 times. It's an obscene amount of money.
So wouldn't be logical just to get rid of this state agency and recruit foreign companies to do the construction?
The construction segment will be liberalized. That's a part of the reform. But at the same time, the heavy snow in Ukraine that took place a couple weeks ago, especially in the Odessa, Mykolaiv, Dnipropetrovsk regions, showed that independent or private operators of the road infrastructure sometimes do not want to spend their resources to fight heavy snow, and because it's costly, and they try to find different ways to avoid the situation. And we managed to resolve this issue, to go through this heavy snow without significant losses for the economy, for the people, with the assistance of the state-owned Avtodor regional representatives. And we had to ask for help from Ukrzaliznytsia, from the ports, from the army, but it worked out. The system worked out well. But what it proved is that in heavy weather conditions, the private sector sometimes doesn't react adequately.
Yeah, it looks like some very complex issues here, Mr. Minister. Thank you for joining us today. We'll be following these developments really closely. Mr. Andriy Pyvovarsky, Minister of Infrastructure of Ukraine. We're discussing the minister's continued wish to leave his office and the crumbling state of Ukraine's car roads. I'm Vladimir Solub. Thank you for watching Viewpoint.